Welcome back to Mama Loves Manga. So you're probably like, girl, you couldn't even bother to at least try to make it look like you didn't pre-film this all in one day. No, I couldn't, okay? I couldn't. You're just gonna have to deal with it. Today, I am here to talk about 5 manga that I enjoy but are hard for me to recommend for various reasons. So let's go ahead and get into it. On the top, I have Flower of Life by Fumiyoshi Naga. This one is hard for me to recommend for a couple of reasons. The main reason being that the 4th and final volume is quite difficult to find. I actually didn't know that it was a 4-volume series until G had mentioned it one day. She asked me if I had found the 4th volume, and I was like, 4th volume? No. So I immediately went to the Amazon Marketplace and looked it up and I happened to find it for, I don't know, like maybe $12 or something like that. Like, it was not that bad of a price. So I didn't think that was that big of a deal. I found it, bought it, you know, whatever. And then I found out later that the 4th volume is extremely out of print, and it typically goes for way more than just like $12 or so. So I got very lucky when I found that 4th volume, and I'm very appreciative to G for letting me know, because I would have just gone on without knowing. So that's the main reason it's hard for me to recommend this. The other reason is that there is a teacher-student relationship that happens in this series, and it's hard for me to recommend because I do speak so loudly about my dislike of certain tropes, one of them being teacher-student relationships between an adult and a minor. But I feel like framing matters so much, and the way things are framed, it is very much not framed to be something that a child should aspire to. It is framed as though it is a bad thing, which it is. I love this series, and if you can get a hold of the 4th volume, I highly recommend that you pick this up. And I do have a manga chat on this one, so I'm not going to say anything else. I'm just going to move on. Next is My Lesbian Experience with Loneliness by Nagata Kabi. And I also wanted to mention My Solo Exchange Diary, also by Nagata Kabi. These are hard for me to recommend because, you know, she's going through it, okay? And not everyone enjoys reading about people going through it. And I don't even want to say that I enjoy it so much as I feel so much compassion for them, and they are so brave for sharing this story. That's how I felt about it. But it is hard for me to recommend because it's not like cutesy or fluffy. It's rough. Next is Tencount by Rihito Takarai. I mean, most of y'all, I'm sure, know why this is hard to recommend. I really enjoy this series, but it does have things that a lot of people see as problematic and triggering, and I respect that. I understand that. I still love this series. I still love this series. Next is Murcielago by Yoshi Murakana. I have mentioned this series so many times because I love it. I have a chopping blog video about this because I was considering not continuing it, mainly because I didn't like where the 9th volume went, and not because I thought it was too violent or anything. It was just because it got ridiculous. It's already a ridiculous story, but it got more ridiculous, and I was like, what? Do I really want to keep reading this? Because this is what is going on right now. But I decided that I am going to keep reading this because I am trash for her. I love her. I love her so much. She is not a good person. Just let me say that. Not at all. But I love her and her boobies. I really enjoy it, but it's not one that I just go recommending all willy-nilly because it is very violent, very sexual in nature, very problematic. Like, there's a lot of things that are very problematic about this. I still love it. And speaking of problematic, Ron in the Gray World by Aki Irie. By now, y'all know my backstory with this. Y'all know how I came across this and all that jazz. And if you don't, I'll link some videos in the description box that you can click if you're curious or whatever. There is so much about this series that I love. The art, first of all, it is so beautiful. But then I also love certain aspects. Like, I love the idea of the main character being this little girl who wants to grow up to be like her mom. I know what it's like to look up to someone, to look up to an adult in your life, whether it's your parent or, I don't know, an aunt or uncle or teacher, whoever. You look up to an adult and you want to grow up and be like them. You just want to be like them and do what they do. In Ron's case, her mom is this powerful sorceress, and she wants to be a sorceress like her mom, and she wants to do it now. And she has these magic shoes that allow her to grow up, but it's just her body. So her body grows up, but mentally she's still like a 10-year-old girl. And I actually love that premise. I mean, it's like the movie Big, you know. I'm pretty sure that's basically what happens in that. You have a boy who is young and he wants to grow up, and he ends up growing up, but he's still a kid on the inside. And I love that exploration. What I don't love is the fact that she gets tangled in this relationship with this man who is creepy. And it'd be one thing if when she grew up, he assumed that she was like, I don't know, at least a college student. But in one of the volumes, I can't remember which one, he specifically mentions that he thinks that she's a high schooler. I have a problem with that. The fact that you assume that she's a high schooler and you're still trying to pursue her, that's weird, okay? Now, if you thought she was a college girl and she's been lying to you about her age, you know, and you didn't think to ask for an ID or anything, I mean, you're still stupid. But I can give you a little teensy bit of a pass. Like this much, but to blatantly say that you think she's in high school and still go after her, that's creepy. But other than that, there's so much that I love about this. I love the storyline with the mom and the dad and the things that they have to do, because the dad is also some kind of supernatural being, and they're doing a lot to protect their realm. Very interesting. Ron has an older brother who has a very interesting power to like shape shift, and then he's also kind of dealing with his own like love stuff that is quite cute. And I mean, even that could be seen probably as a little bit problematic, I guess, but I wasn't bothered by his relationship or whatever. But there are so many things that I enjoy about this. But man, the relationship between Ron and that creepy guy, I hate it. And that concludes my little mini series of 5 manga within different categories that I enjoy. I don't want to film another video for at least a day, because I just filmed 4 of them back to back. My throat hurts. On that note, I'm gonna go. Sit down and read your manga. Bye. You're just gonna watch me scoot. I can't. Okay.